Hey Trails Collective crew, it's that time again. Time for FKT Friday! For the week ending December 4th, 2020, where we look back on who did what out there on the fastestknowntimes.com boards. So this is just capturing those who do submit them to this website. The rest of you, I don't know about it unless I capture them on Facebook. But as I've mentioned in the past, this is an opportunity for me to, I guess, see another aspect of going hard and competitive running out there, particularly in lieu of not having as many events in 2020, and also as an opportunity to learn about pretty cool and beautiful routes across the region. So I just happened to get this clip from out in the field of an FKT being set this past week. And it's somebody who probably none of you probably know. She's probably not on your radar yet, but a pretty phenomenal athlete. In this clip, you'll see some very natural and gifted footwork, especially over some technical terrain. This was a short stretch in, I believe, Mendon Pond State Park outside of Rochester, but definitely an up-and-coming individual to watch. Here comes your short moment of bliss for the week. Take it, Maite Hobbs.
She's good. Oh my God.
So that was friend and regional trail runner Jamie Hobbs, one of his daughters, setting a new FKT stretch, which it looks like on a portion, at least 100 meters or so, on, it looks like it's in Mendon Ponds outside of Rochester. Pretty awesome. For all of you parents out there, you can relate to your own little ones being about that age and just crushing it, finding their new legs, their new feet, let alone hopping over some stones and rocks out there. So, Jamie, thanks for posting that up and sharing it so I could share it with the world. And just to let you know, I was trying, I don't know how much time I actually spent, more than I should have, trying to find kind of an epic finish line shoot photo where there was some trail race and cowbells and all that excitement, and I was planning on going to crop it, and I was going to put your daughter right there in the middle and have that be the take B, but I just couldn't come up with one. And then I came to the decision that, well, that would kind of take some of the, I think, the pure, just pureness out of it. So in any case, thanks for submitting that clip. All right, and I'm also thankful we're going to have the opportunity this week to hear from two individuals who set FKTs in this past week alone. And yeah, so let's get into it. Connecticut, Robert ONeil, 2 hours, 46 minutes for a baseline unsupported mark on the 16-mile Quinebaug Trail. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not pronouncing that right. In Massachusetts, Keith Nadeau, 5 hours, 36 minutes for the Tour du Greylock, a 28.4-mile circumnavigation of Mount Greylock, tallying roughly 7,500 feet of elevation gain en route. This lowers Iain Ridgway's opening male unsupported mark by 49 minutes, and a solid effort given Iain's pretty fast and tough himself. And this takes us into the first connection of the week. Iain Ridgway, 2 hours, 53 minutes for the 25.6-mile Ware River Rail Trail, lowering Steve Levandosky's mark from only a week prior by 11 minutes. And I reached out to Iain. I've mentioned him a number of times this year. I think he's got, I don't know, maybe it's like 15 or 20 FKTs on FKT.com, and I think it's maybe like 11 or 12 this year alone. That was in my head. So I reached out to check in, knowing that FKTs have made up some, I think, adventure and inspiration for him this year. So, Iain, take it away.
Hi, I'm Iain Ridgway, just giving a rundown on the FKTs that ran this year. So this year was my sort of, big year. I turned 40 back in January, so the aim was to have a really good year on the roads. Boston was the first aim. Being in Massachusetts, that was certainly the big one, and we had the USATF New England Road Running Champs sort of through the year. But then sort of February and March rolled in, and I was doing a few races, but we started to see COVID was on the horizon, and slowly a race started to get cancelled. My first FKT of the year was the Monoosnock Ridge which is up from Leominster. It's like a semi-rural setting. And that was the weekend of the New Bedford Half Marathon. And that's when the country really shut down, well the northeast did anyway. It was a 14-mile out and back. It starts like right next to Route 2, but then heads up a beautiful ridge, really nice views. And it just gave me a really solid workout because I'd been training all winter, and that was one of my first key races. And it then gave me sort of a taste, because after that we moved into the virtual race season. We all got psyched to do virtual races, but they just weren't the same. So I really sort of moved into the FKTs for the year. So I was just doing local ones. I ran a nice 10-miler out at Rutland State Park. You know, it uses this old hydro project. Like, it just gets you sort of psyched to run hard efforts. Then I found one on the FKT boards that was Wachusett Mountain. So I went and did a hard effort on that. And again, it's sort of, you know, that was April, May time. I think it was March actually, when it was just high anxiety. So it was good just to forget it and work hard for an hour or two. At the time, my wife was heavily pregnant with twins. They arrived on the 1st of April. So it's been good just to have these FKTs, just to run in my own schedule, get up early in the morning, go and run a hard effort and get back to the house. Even in Worcester, I did a Worcester East-West trail right across the city, and it just highlighted some beautiful areas of the city. Even in like an industrial city like Worcester, we've got really nice trails that sort of cut across the city. And then I found one in Maine that I wouldn't have visited before, and this is what the FKTs did. They took me to areas that I wouldn't have probably been to. It was the Riverlands. It was like a 10-mile out and back, about 20-mile route, Androscoggin River. I spent a lot of time there and never ran there. And then later on I found one in the Belknaps. I generally just go unsupported. Normally either loops or out and backs, just logistically they're easy. So the Belknaps quite a famous one, as the ridge, but the out and back was pretty achievable, so I ran a nice head effort there. And there's also like really good efforts I've had where I've not got the FKT. There was one out in Western Mass, the Taconics and Appalachian Trail loop, and Dan Grip had been out the week before and put a really good effort in. And I still went and had a go, and I think I was like an hour behind him, or 40 minutes or so. But it was a really good 10-hour long day. It's a beautiful area. And being in central Mass, I'd have probably just headed to the Whites if it wasn't for the FKTs, and we couldn't have left Mass at that time. But it gave me a real reason just to go and do a good hard effort in a new area. And there's all that Western Mass. It's just beautiful to see. And maybe I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the FKT scene. Similarly, like September, October, I was still trying to do a few races, so I was training for the Manchester Marathon, and I saw one called Mount Toby. It's like an hour away. It's like a really nice forest area with a nice summit. It's like a good 15-mile loop, so I lowered the FKT for that. And it's been really good to sort of build the community. Like I've met online virtually. I've been sort of chatting with people I'd never met, and I'll probably get to meet now someday. Either I've taken their FKTs or they've been in touch with me, asking tips, and I've taken mine. It's been really good fun. I know the good one I did was a Tour du Greylock, which is a beautiful tour of Mount Greylock in central Western Mass, like a really good loop. And Keith Nadeau just took that off me. And then this weekend I went and did the Ware River Trail, like a 26-mile out and back on the Ware River. It's just like really nice hard effort that without that motivation maybe I wouldn't have done it. So it's been good just to have this on my own schedule, just go out and do hard efforts. I can fit it around my life. And it's built a community, it's kept me motivated. And hopefully in the spring the races will come back around. But I still want to keep doing the FKTs. Takes you to new areas you maybe won't go in the, wouldn't have gone for without the FKTs. So that's it, thanks.
So nice work, Ian, throughout the year here, and thanks for that quick follow-up and checking in with us. In Maine, Xander Keiter, 1 hour 57 minutes for the 9.3 miles knob loop, lowering the most recent mark set in 2019 by 10 minutes. In New Jersey, Nigel Bates, 2 hours and 17 minutes for the Blue Mountain Trail, a 16.9 mile stretch in the Stoke State Forest, and an opening mark for this route. In New York, Jay Whitbourne, 6 hours 57 minutes for a baseline unsupported mark for a 36 mile, which is out and back fashion or format for the Crescent Trail outside of Rochester. And I think he's got to be the leader on the FKT boards this year, I would presume. Justin Kowski, 5 hours, 26 minutes for the Bear Mountain State Park, 7 summits. It's a 27.5 mile route that gains 7,500 feet en route. And this is an opening male unsupported mark for this route. In PA, Neil Barnaba, 4 hours, 25 minutes for baseline unsupported mark on the 24.7 mile Lake Marburg Circumnavigation. Looks like an interesting route. Just reading the description a bit, looks like you can only do it when the water is down seasonally. So it looks like it's probably pretty cool. In Virginia, Melissa Petty and Sandy Jones, 11 hours, 49 minutes on the 50-mile New River Trail, a baseline female unsupported mark. Absolutely spectacular. And I'll also plug a couple images here as I'm talking. It just looks like a really beautiful trail along the New River. So speaking of destinations, it seems like of all the ones I'm going through here, there are so many that would just make for outstanding trips and runs. So this would be one of them in that area. And then I'm going to close with a multi-state one. This is in Maryland and Virginia. Gabriel Rufus Matiaco, and I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right, and Richard Wayshner, 7 hours, 8 minutes for 37 miles worth of sand running to cover the length of Assateague Island. And this is one that I just caught on Richard's Facebook post and just thought it was pretty cool. It was one, well actually, I'll let him tell it. So Richard, thanks for the quick turnaround here as well. Great job on the effort. And to all those watching in this episode, I'm going to take you out this week in Richard tuning us into how their effort went. All right, I will catch you next episode. Thanks for tuning in. See ya!
Hi everyone, this is Richard Wayshner letting you know about a FKT we did this past weekend. Gabe Matiko and myself set out from West Ocean City around 4:30 in the morning on Friday, day after Thanksgiving, and did a kayak over to Assateague Island, where we set out on a 37.5 mile journey from the northernmost point of Assateague Island to the southernmost point. Took 7 hours and 8 minutes, set a new FKT on there, and big thanks to Trent Swanson, also Matt and Chuck for helping us along the way. And if you want to get out there, it's a lot of fun. If you like looking at the beach the whole time, also be prepared. I got sunburnt. I was surprised, end of November, but it happens. So gonna stick to the trails from now, good on the beach, and hope everybody has a great holiday, and we'll see you out there soon. Bye.